What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be repairing this pink Wii remote control. This is the one with the motion plus in, so let's get into it. So the problem that we have with this controller is it's got no power. Now I've taken it apart just to make it a little bit easier for the video basically, but I will be taking another one apart for donor parts basically to show you kind of how to take it apart and things like that. So the reason that I believe this isn't working is because of battery acid corrosion on the terminal, as you can see there. Now this is the one that one of the ones that I got from Wes, so thank you again, Wes, for that bundle. Everything else looks pretty good, apart from the terminals. So we're going to try and fix the terminals and see if that will help. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a donor. This is basically just one of the unofficial Wii controllers. The reason why I'm using one of these is because obviously you don't really get as much for these as what you would for especially like the pink ones with the motion plus in. So just going to use the donor parts from this. It's probably cheaper than buying replacement parts for it anyway, because it's really hard to find these parts for some odd reason. But I'm only going to be changing this part with a spring on because it's the only one that really has any good damage to it. And then obviously there is the one inside the controller as well. So this one here, I've already taken it out of the pink controller, but it was really bad. So what I've gone ahead and done, I got a phone call in between this, so I've just decided to sit and take apart the other controller during that phone call. So what I've went ahead and done, and I've taken out the connector that I need, but the other one does need to be soldered out. So let's take out the old one first. I do apologise about this really bad angle. So let's get this on here. Try and get you in there as well. So first thing I need to do is prepare the area with a little bit of soldering flux, and that just helps the solder flow a little bit better. I won't need a lot, just a tiny little bit. And the main reason I put it in this little vise as well is for when I do solder, hopefully what will happen is it'll just pop itself out. So let's heat up this area. There we go, just like that. What I am going to do is I'm going to take away some of that solder. I'm just going to suck some of that solder up, just so that I can get the new one in. There we go. And then what I need to do is I need to do exactly the same for the donor board, but I'll do that off camera and come back once I've done that. So that's that now out of the donor board. So what I'm going to do is move these bits to the side. Is we're going to get the new one put in. So just as easy as popping it in. I may need to take a little bit more solder out. Yeah, bear with me 2 seconds just while I do that. In fact, use a little bit of desoldering braid. Usually makes life a little bit easier for stuff like this. There we go. So hopefully now It should just fit in. I don't know, I think I know what the problem is. It's a bit too much solder on the end of this. I don't know if you can see that very well. No, let's try to focus on something else. Come on. No, it's not going to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly take a little bit more solder off that and get it put in, and then we'll come back to... so that's all done now. So that is now put back in place, and all it needs to do now is just to get some solder on, obviously just to pop it back onto the board. So just warming up my flux here in the background. It's so cold in this garage that my flux gets really hard, which is a bit of a pain. So it doesn't come out of this syringe very well. So need some solder. I don't have any prepared. There we go. So this is actually flux cord solder. I don't know if it makes that much of a difference, to be quite honest with you, but it sounded posher than just normal solder, so I went for it. So let's get that put back in place. Get just a nice blob of solder on there. Make sure the connections are really good. There we go. So what I will normally do next as well, I will get a toothbrush. I've got some isopropyl alcohol here. All I'll do is just get a little bit damp with the IPA and just give it a good wipe around the whole board. Obviously isopropyl alcohol is non-corrosive, so it's not going to affect the board in any way, me putting this on. It's just going to give the board a good old clean. If there is any kind of corrosion anywhere else, it'll just help remove that extra corrosion. And you just want to make sure that it dries off before you do anything else. And there we go. So that's the new terminal back in place on that. So what we need to do now is get the new one put in place for here. So that's basically just as easy as pop it in. There we go. That's the new one in there. Let's get it put all back together and let's see if this thing works. So I haven't put it all the way back together. I haven't screwed it all in. But let's test it to see if it works. Oh, there we go. So that's power straight away. Obviously that's really, really good. What I will do as well is I will obviously test it out on an actual console, make sure that that works, and make sure it picks up the signal and everything, because I have had a few where they work absolutely fine, but the what you call it, the Bluetooth kind of thing doesn't work. So let's try that out now and see if that works. So it has just synced up. Oh, and there we go. So it's working absolutely fine. Let's just press a couple of buttons. Above TV. This is actually one of the Wii's that wears centers as well. So obviously the A button works absolutely fine. The plus and minus button work. Home button works. There's no way to kind of test the 1 and 2 button, which is a bit of a pain. If anyone does know how to, let me know. But yeah, everything seems to be working absolutely fine. What I'll probably do is I'll probably put a game in here, have a little go on the game, and make sure that all works as well. So one final thing I will be doing with this console as well is changing this. As you can see, it is a white wristband at the moment, and I mean it is an official Wii one, which is good, but I want it all to be matching. I tend to keep these all for other controllers anyway. I can go in the pile to be washed, and we'll be putting a nice pink one on. There we go. That's that in there. Sorry, my camera angles are really bad at the moment. It's this phone. For some reason, when you turn the camera on, it zooms right in. It's a bit of a pain. There we go. So there we go. So we now have a new wristband and a fixed pink Wii controller. So thank you very much for watching. I have got a lot more better stuff coming. I've got a couple of PlayStation 3s, a couple of PlayStation 1s I will be trying to fix. I did mention in the last video that I had a PlayStation 4 from a guy called Bob, I believe it was. Unfortunately, that PlayStation 4 won't be in a video. It's my own fault. I kind of, as I say, I'm new to this. I tried to replace a part that needed replacing, which would have fixed it, and I've ended up knacking up the part. And because of that, it's now it isn't fixable now. So I've basically just taken it apart for kind of spares and repairs. So that is currently in that box up there, just in pieces, and it's good because I've now got spare parts for if I get another one in. But it is a bit disappointing for myself because I would like to have got it fixed. But as I say, it is totally my fault. It would have been fixed if it wasn't for my stupidity, I suppose. But it's all part of the game. It's all part of the learning, and that's what I'm here for. So thank you very much for watching. Please do consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.